Hello.
Classic.
What's your wrong?
So we usually have to say we don't own the copyrights to the music. We don't own it, but we have the actual artist on here this evening.
Yeah,
We got Freedom Stratton. We're gonna let this ride out
we
for a
all
few
good.
minutes as our intro.
Put a little volume on it.
Huh?
Promise I win this, the competition getting up business, but I'm really winning to win I promise I win. Girl, you beautiful, my mind's spinning like Hulu. That's not the new to you, just wait for it up. I love it when we are because it's genuine. This song at like 30K right now.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Thanks.
So that's Freedom Stratton, everybody. We got him on here tonight. We have Justice on here as well, and we're going to have a conversation here. I know our lovely co-host will kick it off for us and tell everybody what we're talking about tonight.
Yes. So we want to welcome you to another evening of Vulnerable Voices with your two wonderful hosts. That would be myself, EJA, and the one and only Doc Miller from Albany, New York.
Yes,
we have two special guests on our podcast today. We have Justice and Freedom. Now, can you imagine that? Justice and freedom. What a beautiful thing. Justice and freedom. That's what that is. So we are going to have a dialogue just about things that's going on in the world right now, but a different perspective. So we have older people. I won't call them old folks because that would be calling myself old. Why?
One old person, not me.
We have older people, including myself, and then we have a younger generation, and we'll hear from Justice and Freedom this evening. But our episode tonight is Do the Right Thing. And we have these guests who we know are doing the right thing. We want to bring a fresh perspective to you this evening. We started out with a hot song from Freedom. You probably heard him jamming and rhyming to it. Good stuff. I checked you out. You got some great tunes out, and we appreciate you for joining us today.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And so let's go ahead and start it there. We'll do ladies first. So we'll have Miss Justice introduce herself, tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll hand it over to Freedom. Justice.
Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time you're watching. Hello, my name is Justice Monton. I am 20 years old. I am a Dallas, Texas native. However, I am currently here in Houston, Texas, serving in my passion as an educator. And I am glad to be here and want to thank Doc Miller and EJA for the opportunity.
Well, thanks for coming on. And tell us about yourself, sir. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? How old are you?
I am 20 years old from Albany, New York. Graduated high school last year. Right now, I am striving to be an independent artist. And right now, this is full time. Actually, I just recently got signed, so I'm trying to make as much music right now as possible, so I can support my the label's requests and stuff like that. So that's coming quite nicely. Facts. I'm glad how everything's coming together.
What's the name of the album that you just released, sir? And what platforms is it on?
Yes. I just dropped 2 albums. I dropped The Future and then I dropped The Future Deluxe, and they both are on all platforms of music. And both of those albums are really based on like community music, like around my community, like it's fight oriented. So like everybody on there is, I tried to make it as diverse as possible. Like everybody on there I've never talked to, you feel me? Like never met in my life, you feel me? Everybody's a new face. So besides like that one song that you heard, that was me and my brother, you feel me? But besides that, most of the other songs that I did were all brand new people that I've never met. So just meeting connections, getting those connections, and having them for the future. Like it's all good. Thanks.
Got you. Okay. So we have two young perspectives here, and so I'm gonna start this conversation off because I will argue that your generation is the softest generation I've ever seen.
Nah.
And so when I now here, let me explain. Let me explain why I say it's the softest generation, like baby bottom soft, like baby booty, and I'm gonna say that because it's the generation of immediate gratification, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have it right now, I often see where people in this generation have a difficult time grinding out for it. And what I mean by that is they want the result, but they don't want to have to go through the process. So the process, you want the outcome, but the process. And so, what you see too often with this generation is giving up because it's hard. And see where I would say that, your mother, Erica, and I, EJA, our generation, we've had to go through struggle. We couldn't afford to give up and just move on. We never had immediate gratification. We didn't have the internet to go look things up. We had to walk 10 miles to school with no shoes on.
Right.
It was.
Well, you did not walk 10 miles to school, but okay.
But
but not that many buses. Facts, I feel you. Like,
but
it's more convenient.
That's the crux of my argument. This generation is, and how do you guys feel about it? What do you think?
I feel like, I'll let you go first if you want to. If ladies first, you feel me?
Okay. So I don't think that Generation Z, I don't think we're soft. I think that I do believe we are the generation of immediate gratification. Like that's the thing. Like we are the generation that came up with smartphones and apps and immediate downloads. We figured out how to get albums and not pay for them. And then we had to, like, people had to, like, there's not a respect for, a better term, there's a lack of respect for true soul and spirit and life in our generation to a certain extent. We don't respect things being seasoned. We like everything to be cooked in a microwave, rather than you putting something on a gas stove. We are the generation of DoorDash and Uber Eats, not your great grandmama's kitchen. And don't you come in this kitchen until everything is done.
Nah, yeah, I could definitely agree with what she was saying too. Facts, but I would say like it's tough because like when it comes to music, I've seen a lot of people like just give up because they're not getting views, and I'm like, yo, like your music is new to anyone that hasn't heard your music. You feel me? Like, so until everybody in the world has heard your music, don't give up because there's still that one person that might like your music. You feel me? Like, if a record label likes your music, somebody else is gonna like your music. You feel me? Like, if you got the like, say that one person, like, it doesn't even have to be like like there might be a table of people at a record label deal. You feel me? But if one person likes you, they might give the time out to put that effort into you, you feel me? But people don't think about like the long run, you feel me? They're thinking more. So back to what we were saying, I feel like we could be a little tougher, you feel me? But like I want to say we soft like marshmallows, you feel me? Like maybe like
right,
like a tire, like you feel me?
But there is, so on the positive side, I say that generation is full of creativity and is full of thinking out of the box and trying to do things different because you're trying to find an easier way to do it, which doesn't always have to be a bad way. It doesn't always have to be bad. I know we were also we were wondering, we got this election going on right now. So
Speaking of waiting and allowing things to marinate, right? I mean, we talked about the microwave generation and you want it right now. And we're in this election and you can't have it right now. We're having to wait. And I think it's forcing everyone to display more patience. So I'm really interested in what the younger generation has to say about this election process and the things that you guys have seen during this election time, because we've never had a November like this before, ever, right? And I'm sure this is like probably you guys' first time even being able to vote for president. So what has that been like? Talk to us about this political dynamic that we're going through right now.
Well, man, when we're just in a bad situation. It's like I can't like find any like the only positive like. It's just a whole lot of downfalls I see, you feel me? But it's like, at this point, it's like, whoever you deep down, like, who you feel is right. Like, honestly, because, like, you wouldn't know you're not going to know how Joe Biden is, you feel me? You're not going to know how Trump is, his fourth, whatever his years to come are like to be, you feel me? Like, you don't know exactly how they're going to be. Biden has stuff under his resume that people don't know about, you feel me? Mm-hmm. That people don't like, you feel me? And Trump has stuff that he's sexist. Like, he has a lot of different stuff that people just dislike about him. And I feel like they both are just like bad candidates, but I'm going for Biden. Yeah, I'm going for Biden. If I were to vote, I'm going for Biden.
If you were to vote, you didn't vote?
Not.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See,
I couldn't come to it, yo. Like I just was like, yo, with these two obstacles.
See, Justice, like, you're losing points here, Justice. Your boy here.
Okay, let me come in on the win, Freedom. Yeah. Let me come in on the win. Vote. And let me go ahead and come to the judges bench. Let me go ahead and bring some justice in this, okay? Because he's not going to cancel us like that. We're just see, and so on that, we like to say Generation Z are the creators and authors of the canceling culture, but I really believe that we got it from you all. Canceling people, but because of that, like for example, like. This election is crazy. It's just crazy.
Go back to that. You say canceling people. What exactly are you meaning? Break it down for us.
She old. You got to explain what canceling means. She ain't
like
hear
canceling.
That
like canceling is like there's some things that I'm just staying firm about, and you don't do it. You don't agree. You cancel. You done. Like find something else. Move on. Like don't even come my way. You see me go the opposite way, don't speak, don't say anything. Like, and I have a bad habit of canceling people. And this election has made me cancel a lot of people. Just
they don't agree. Why
I'm not gonna say, okay, so for me, this election, like Freedom said, both of the candidates are sketchy. Politics is sketchy. Okay, the whole thing of politics is sketchy.
Yo, they need a 25-year-old president. I'm jacking. They need a 25-year-old president.
The whole thing of politics is sketchy. But like, at the end of the day, and I started to tweet it last night, and I was like, this is not the time to tweet my emotions. Twitter's not going to become my diary right now. But I wanted people to realize, like, at the end of the day, there's a whole generation, Generation Z. Those of us that this is our first presidential election of voting, those of us that were born in 99 and 2000, like, most of us, because I was very, very surprised and disappointed in some of my generation from their thoughts and how they decide and who they vote for. But
Oh yeah,
And my
definitely.
observation and like knowing our generation and listening and reading and hearing what they have to say, at the end of the day, most of our generation is just looking for somebody to be in the White House with just an inch of morality, just an
Mm.
inch,
Right.
like just an inch, just enough not to get up at a presidential debate and tell white supremacy groups to stand down, not stop, stand down. Like these are the things we want to see change. Like we don't want. I don't expect either candidate to go in here and just change the world. Like
Right.
it's just not gonna happen. But
But
I
you're
just
Next
want
4
somebody with
years.
morality. And honestly, for me, I felt my vote ended up breaking off happening based upon the vice president that they chose. Who was their running mate? Who is the person that's your backbone? Who's the person that's gonna say, I don't know. Okay, but if we do this, what's the plan B? How do we plan to go about this? And so I felt confident in knowing,
so
Kamala,
you
my soror, a black woman would be in office if Biden won.
gotcha. So
So,
your
wait, hold on. Let me ask this because you said your server. So are you just riding with her because she's a server? So
I am not. I
I'm
was
so I get it,
one of
but
those sorors.
she also locks
I
people up. Now Kamala has a history of locking brothers up. So me and Freedom,
She does,
we
but this was
we
based
got a
upon the
history of locking
position
us
she
up.
was in and the policies and bills and laws that had been written and that were in action. She has made mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, do I feel like she needs to go ahead and confess about the mistakes she has made and just be straight up about it? Like, not tiptoe around them? Yes. But I feel like at the end of the day, as a black woman, and she's the child of immigrants, there are certain things that your heart just is not going to allow you to do.
interesting.
Well,
I thought it was interesting, Paul, that Freedom said we need a 25-year-old in the White House. Like,
Yeah, it's like a age limit. I'm like, well, how are you gonna put an age limit
I would
on the government?
I would say a 25-year-old brain still isn't developed and still
You think so?
is
You
your
stop
brain
developing
developed,
at
sir?
21. You stop developing at 21 though. You feel me? Like
he said somebody 20 or 25, you got it covered.
No.
like if you got the qualifications, like I'm not saying like somebody just like Kanye West could just like he can though. If you got the money, you can run for whatever you want. Like if I became a big enough artist, Beyonce could run for president. You feel me? Like enough people like her to where she would probably get a good amount of people running for her. Like just off the strength of her music, like not even knowing anything about
Problem.
politics, just off of her fan
Wow.
base. Because you see how there's there's two sides of this presidency that people like myself like gotten to the point where it's like damn like sorry but like which one do you pick? You feel me? Like if I pick this one, like some people are picking Trump for the stimulus check,
Hmm.
like and I'm like what like what like that doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm like dang like that just like it won't it just I'm like dang like there's no thinking about what they're doing. It's just more of like what they can do for you. You feel me? Like on the strength of like one person at a time, each singular person, not as a country. You feel me? Like what can they do for all of us instead of what can they do for me?
See,
You feel me? But
I've heard of well, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter anyways and it doesn't count. And so I think a lot of people don't understand the electoral college process, which I don't agree with personally. However, the just to understand and to break it down for people who are listening, so each state has representatives, and your representatives are based on your House and your Senate representatives. So the larger the state is, the more representatives you have. And so on top of having more representatives, you if you have it's supposed to be along with the popular vote. So if the popular vote, the electors are supposed to vote along with that popular vote. Now, 5 times within the history of this country, the electors have done their own thing and decided to vote
do
against
what
the
they want.
popular vote. However, most of the time they go with the popular vote, and so the way that your vote counts is because if one candidate has 1 million votes and the other candidate has 1,000,001 votes, then that candidate with 1,000,001 votes will get all of the electors' votes if it's done properly. And so you want to go out and vote. So like when you decide not to vote, so what happens is when you decide not to vote, it's a vote for basically who was in office. So you decided basically by you not voting, you voted for Trump, sir. So and so in New York, we have a Democratic state. So 9 times out of 10, no matter what, we're going to end up, our electoral votes will go towards the Democratic candidate. However, if everybody took that stance, then we would be in a heap hold of trouble. So that's just.
But
go ahead.
I gotta so if say we all voted, you feel me, and it was a landslide, you feel me, how would we initiate that they need to vote for the person that we voted for, or is it because we voted for those people to be in the House to represent us that their opinion is the only one that matters?
That's a question.
Is there any way to be okay, how can we work this out to where they're trying to work it out to where people have a say, but if people are electing the people to take their votes and to do what they want with them, then who really had the power is in the government, you feel me? How would somebody go about being how
so with college. So Paul, now you have to give another lesson, and then that's going to lead me to another question about education. So explain to Freedom how you become part of the Electoral College. How do you?
So from my understanding, you are elected to the Electoral College. They're voted in by a certain group of representatives. I'm still a little fuzzy on how you end up becoming within that population, and I'm trying to do my own homework and research and figure that out, because the process is not very transparent to me, and I think it's made like that on purpose. And the thing that I have an issue with is that if you decide, because in the Constitution there's nothing in there that says they have to vote with the popular vote. It's just what typically happens. So if they go the opposite way, what's to say that someone couldn't motivate an individual person to go a separate way or to go a different way,
or pay them?
Right. So, and typically,
money rules the world.
It doesn't go like that, but it could, and 5 times it did in 2016, because Hillary Clinton had I think almost 3 million more votes, and she still lost the election. So even right now, I believe Mr. Vice President Biden is ahead, and he's allegedly won the electorals, but the electoral colleges don't even vote tonight. I believe it's in a week or two that they vote. So there's going to be time in between this process, and so I guess there was a question from one of our viewers, Yvette East, who's a faithful viewer. She's been here every week, and Justice is laughing because Yvette's our only viewer. So we wonder what actions would have motivated you to vote? What could have gotten you to go get your butt up and win and vote yesterday, sir?
Even the candidates don't change. It's still the same thing. It's just motivation to get out of bed to go.
Motivation. What would have made you go and choose a candidate? Because the not choosing was choosing. You did choose.
Yeah. Okay. So me knowing that before I didn't. You feel me? I didn't take that into consideration. I'm thinking how we were just talking, the representatives, and I'm all right, we had this other election before, and we all know how that went. She was clearly winning, and somehow she ended up losing. And then the people are left I thought this person won. So it's dang, I went and voted, and just for what we did what we needed to do. It was enough. You feel me? But it wasn't enough for them. You feel me? It's just what is enough?
And,
Like,
and I think
do we need to be in there
that's
to
valid.
be?
That's a very valid point, and what I hear Freedom saying is, hey, man, if I would have known better, maybe I would have done better. And so I think that points a finger in our direction, Paul, particularly if we're educators. So the wondering now becomes is why aren't particularly our children of color, why don't we teach them this process? Why don't they clearly understand the impact of their vote? Why do we spend so much time on memorizing the states, but not understanding the process? And so I wonder, is that a downfall on educators?
But and you know what? I think it might be, Erica, but I also think that, so I can honest, if I'm being real, I didn't even care about politics, or I didn't know any of this stuff until recently, right? So I've walked 42 years on this earth, and I really couldn't tell you everything that I just told you until within the last few months. And the point being, and what I will say is that I'm almost grateful to having a president like Donald Trump. And the reason why I'm grateful is because it made me wake up. It made me see like, oh my goodness, if I don't educate myself and I don't really understand what's going on around me, that I can fall for anything. I can have all of these things happen to me, such as having a president who has done the things that he's done or has not done anything, and who is a liar, who's a cheat, who does, and openly and very proud of it, who's a racist, and there's nothing I can do about it because I'm not educated. So he's forced me to want to educate myself to understand this more. And so I think as Black people, he's forced us to wake up a little bit, because he woke up the country and he made it acceptable to show your racism where it was a little bit in the closet before. And I know, Justice, you made a good point. Now, this might be a little comical, but Vice President Biden, I think he's on his last legs. I don't think that brother's going to last too long. And so,
right? He like 70. So, I'm like, come on. Like, why are they 60 and 70 years old?
I was just glad the question was asked during the vice presidential debate. Both of you all will be representing the oldest president that America has ever seen. What do you plan to do, considering we are in the midst of coronavirus, COVID-19? Like, real life. Like, this could be the experience of, like, literally, legitimately, like, Generation Z. We are the generation that has seen stuff the world has never seen before. Literally. So we could literally be the witness and see, like, the whole process of, God forbid, knock on wood, but a president dies from an illness and the vice president has to step up. Like,
right,
you know, and that's why I was like, I really need to look at these vice presidents, because this could really happen in real life.
That's a fact.
Now, you mentioned COVID. So now COVID has been a whole new challenge. And so how is trying to make and put out music during COVID and affected you, Freedom and Justice? You know, I know you're an educator, so, you know, I want to hear how COVID has affected you, educating. You're a whole teacher. So how has it affected you? So let's talk a little bit about COVID from the Generation Z perspective. So how's it affected you as an artist, Freedom?
For me, I feel like it hasn't been not beneficial at all. Like, it's given me actually more time to dedicate myself to my music. You feel me? Like, 2020 has not been a bad year for me. Like, it's been a bad year, but it's been a great year for me. Like, I got a lot going on this year. I've done like like 20 music videos. I wrote 70 songs that are recorded that I just need to drop. I have music for 2021 already. Like I have an album that I'm working on right now that is almost complete, that I'm going to be dropping in December. So right now I'm just like trying to do as much as I can before I have to before everything does get back to normal. And so when it does get back to normal, they're like, "Oh yeah, Freedom, your songs are at hundreds of thousands of views. Come do shows." You feel me? Now I don't have to wait the time. My music will already be there. Like when you first drop music, they don't want you to perform it as soon as you drop it. They want you to perform it after after it gains traction. You feel me? So once it gets like hundreds of thousands of views, then they start contacting you like, okay, can you come and perform here, here, and here? And then it's like, all right, now when everything's open up, that's when all that stuff will happen. But right now I'm like just touching those numbers. Like the Future album just hit 120,000. The deluxe is at 115,000, and I just dropped a single the other day. That single's at like 10,000. So we're definitely going up as we go. And
what's the single?
Say it again. The Call Me If You Need Me. Call Me If You Need Me. It was that animated cover art that I had. That one, that's my background on my Facebook. Yeah, I just dropped that single. It's called "Call Me If You Need Me."
Got you. Justice, how's COVID affected you as an educator? I mean, because good Lord, it's already not to teach. It's already hard to teach people badass kids, and then on top of
no child is bad. Okay? Every child is misunderstood. I like to let my children use the TikTok saying, "I'm not bad. You just can't handle my attitude."
Me and Dr. Miller know each other.
But for me, okay, so my experience of being an educator is interesting. I moved to Houston the week of Valentine's Day. So COVID closed the schools 2 weeks later. So I was only in the classroom for 2 weeks. I decorated a classroom, had studied all of this material, was learning what it looks like to teach traditionally, just for the world to kind of flip upside down and do something that had never been done before. But that was my life. Like, it wasn't anything crazy for me. So I am a spiritual person. And when I was in college, God had already told me what you're going to do when you leave here is going to be something that's never been done before. And so
you just didn't know it was COVID.
Right? I didn't know it was going to be COVID. I didn't know it was going to look like that. I'm thinking, oh, he's about to take me on these platforms. I'm going to meet people I didn't think about. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm about to go into this industry, because initially I didn't want to go in education just because my mother, I don't know, and I didn't want to be a shadow. And then it ended up being a thing of just do it. So I did it, and I was good at it, and I was great. And so when COVID came, I was one of the teachers that was on TikTok. Yes, I was that person, TikTok and Twitter. And so I'm just like looking, like, what are they doing? And so I was like just kind of using what I knew kids were on. Kids are on social media. Okay, maybe you don't come on a virtual call, so I'm going to get you through social media. Doing things like that. And so I got really, really, really comfortable in that. And I felt like I was getting to a point where I was going to be able to say that I'm getting good at this. I'm not too many steps away from mastery. And then they said, come back. The kids are coming back. And that was scary. So
yeah,
I went back, going back in the building. Initially, it's just adults. Okay, so I'm still teaching virtually, but I'm just doing it for my classroom. Okay, cool. More space, whiteboards, all the materials I need. This is great. And then kids come back. And the kids, you know the kids you serve. When you work in a certain area with a certain population of students, you make sure you understand who you serve. So I understood and was aware. I didn't think that it would look the way it did. And at first I had accepted, I'm teaching in the midst of COVID. I'm just going to clean. I'm going to be safe. And then God said, hey, it's your turn again. And he made me get COVID.
Wow.
And so I had to learn that this industry in education, in the middle of COVID, we were never prepared for it, but this is the time that the world is at war. And for some of the kids, school was the only safe place. School was your only meal. School was your only place where somebody told you they loved you. School was the only place you learned how to write your name. It broke my heart when kids came back from COVID, and there were some kids that had forgotten everything. It was like starting over. It was like getting a kid and you literally getting a blank canvas. And so teaching in COVID has just been, I don't even have a word for it yet. Like I just kind of have been journaling day by day to figure out what is happening.
So Justice, let me ask you, why do you think God allowed you to get COVID? What do you think he was trying to teach you? What was your lesson?
Honestly, I think God was teaching me a few things. I have a very bad habit of trying to put everyone before I put myself. And so I was constantly overwhelmed, and I was constantly calling my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is crazy. Like, I can't take it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't take it. And so literally, I think I had just like had a meltdown maybe the 1 or 2 days before. And I was just like, I cannot do this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. And my mom, she literally told me, she said, you have to stop taking everything so personal and stop being emotional about everything. And you have to create boundaries, guidelines, and tell people directly what it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be. So I think God let me get COVID, number one, because he knew I was going to be able to be a warrior through it. He knew I had a support system. Like, I had a support system that is amazing. Like, it was to a point where I had to tell people, hey, I got to get rest during this. In order to heal, I got to get rest. You cannot call me every 5 minutes. But he knew I had a support system. Like, he knew I was going to be able to get through the fight. But he wanted me to learn how to be at rest in the midst of unrest. Usually I'm the person that's always trying to run to the forefront to be a part of the fight. I was that girl in college, like at the protest. Oh no, this happened. Oh no, we're going to I was a freshman in college, had been there a whole academic year. I'm in the president's office like, no, this isn't right. Like, this needs to change. And I saw a change, but I was always that girl. So I think me getting COVID was like, no, you need to like literally learn how to rest while the world is in an uproar, while the election is about to happen, like all of these things, you just need to rest. I hadn't watched CNN. I didn't cut on CNN until yesterday. Like, I had cut off all the news circuits, like everything. I was away from the world. And so I really think that was like the biggest lesson for me, to be at ease and rest in the midst of unrest.
Thanks. It's crazy out here right now.
I think it's good stuff. You know, we're nearing towards the end of our time, and I think we've had some good dialogue, you know, and just to kind of close out, one, we're going to play Freedom's new single, Call Me If You Need Me.
Is it clean?
Is it
clean?
Huh? Say it again?
Well,
of course. All my music's clean.
Clean meaning he
I try to be as PG-13 as possible. Thanksgiving, like that kind of music. I'm trying to make like I'm trying to make like family gathering music. Like,
I just want to give these two young people credit and shots out for doing and living their dreams. They both live in their passion. And that's the best thing that I could say, whether they soft or not is okay. We could deal with a little bit of softness. You know, everybody likes banana pudding, but at the end of the day, banana pudding tastes good. And so they are living their passions. They're living their dreams. They're trying to do what they can to live in their purpose and be the people that they're supposed to be. And I hear that both of them want to also give back and do it for others as well. So we got to give it up for them. They both are two strong individuals who are trying to, just do things the right way. And that's what this is about. It's about, we're trying to do things right whether we're older, whether we're younger. We're trying to give back to this community and to this society. And hopefully we will have results in an election that will be a little bit more peaceful in a way to give back to society as well.
Yeah.
In closing, I'm just gonna let's hear this single. Let's check it out.
All right. Turn it up, Paul King.
This song just got signed too. You guys ever heard of the Bee Gees? Cartoons on the TV. This is my shit. I know you love the Bee Gees.
I got no complaints. I got songs to make. I got sunny days. I got all the time in the world. Baby, gon' vibe.
This is my producer. Me and him are like partners, like business partners when it comes to music. He's signed to the same label as me and everything. Like we do a lot of our music together because the label like really likes us together. So like we're trying to like start something with us.
So where can people find and get a hold of you two social media lights?
Oh yes, Freedom.
Just give me one, man. Give me one. I don't want to hear all that. Give me the best one.
all right. I got the _real_ Freedom Stratton. You feel me? That's my main page, and then Freedom Stratton on Facebook. Facts, and then all on other.
And where's your music? What platforms is your music on?
Apple, Google Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any. It should be on any social media outlet, like besides like not like Facebook and stuff like that, but it is actually on Facebook. So,
all right,
yeah, Facebook and Instagram. You
How
can look
they
it up.
Get a hold of the Teacher of the Year?
If you're looking for me, you can go ahead and get some real good content. Go follow me everywhere. It's Justice Montan. And I don't just post about teaching, guys. I post about my life.
Yeah, I'm about to look at that
TikTok is bomb.
All right, good stuff.
That concludes our
episode tonight, man. We're glad to have you on. Remember, you know, before you go and rule the world, you were here first. And we appreciate having you both on tonight. Definitely. And we hope that everyone out there listening appreciates it too. And next week, tune in for next week, Vulnerable Voices. Man. Same time, same place, 7:30 Wednesday night. We're going to talk about the almighty black dollar. We're going to have some black businessmen on here, some actually wealthy black businessmen that are going to tell you how to do it. Did you just raise your eyebrows? Did you get excited? Wealthy black businessmen? I got excited.
It was the technology.
Oh, okay. Technology. She's not excited because of wealthy black businessmen. All right. So we will see y'all next week. And peace out. Have a good night. I hope by the end of this election.
Peace out.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all. Yeah.